the one. You might find yourself trying and testing, investing your time and continually being disappointed. And it can get a little disheartening after a while. Well, that's why I am here to help. I'm going to guide you to finding your perfect pair of running shoes. It's going to be more than love at first sight. It's going to be that perfect match that will go the distance. I know what type of shoe I prefer, but is it necessarily right for me? Have you got a favourite style of shoe and you've never even questioned it? Do you know, sometimes it's worth taking a step back and looking at the shoe selection process with fresh eyes. And that is exactly what I plan to do today. Now, you know I said I'm here to help. Well, slight bending of the truth. I am actually going to get some expert help and I'm going to share it with you. I'm heading to a running specialist store to speak to their experts and make the most of their gait analysis. And I'm actually really intrigued to find out if science will back up my preferred choice of shoe. Before I grab the best looking pair of shoes off the shelf and start running on this treadmill, I gather there are a few questions I need to answer. Craig from Runner's Need has kindly agreed to take me through a gait analysis and guide me to the perfect shoe choice. Well, hi Craig.
Hello.
Thank you for accommodating us today. I want to buy a pair of shoes, so I want you to just kind of run me through the process of what you normally do when you have a client walk off the street who's after a new pair.
So first thing we like to do is try and just find a little bit about their background, their current running, any injuries that they may or may not have.
Okay.
That can hamper or affect the gait analysis. So if you're carrying an injury, you can actually load yourself to overcompensate for the injury. So we like to know that in advance. So what sort of running are you doing at the moment?
Do you mean mileage?
Mileage-wise, yes, and type of terrain?
Mixed terrain, so I will kind of try probably about 50% off-road at least, and then I'm doing a couple of quality sessions a week, and probably my mileage at the moment does vary depending on sort of weekends, but between about 50 and 70k a week. Okay.
And are you carrying any injuries at the moment, or have you recovered from an injury and under?
Mild niggle in a calf, on my right calf, that's just sort of rumbling.
So the first thing we would like to do is put you in a neutral pair of shoes.
Okay.
Ideally, it's the most neutral shoe we've got, which would be on Cloud, which I can go get. Just need to know what size you would wear normally.
Yeah, I'm a 5.5. So you don't put people barefoot, you always put them in a shoe?
Yeah, put them in a shoe.
Okay, great. So why have you guys chosen this shoe to get people
main reason we choose that particular shoe is the most neutral shoe we have in the store.
Okay.
There's very little support around the ankle or through the shoe itself, and therefore when we put you on the treadmill, it will show up everything that's going on with your feet.
Okay. All right then, what's the...
Right, so...
The ugly truth.
So I've paused it, just jumped in a little bit so we can see the actual run. And we're just literally going to click it through step by step, frame by frame. Have a little look and see what's going on. So foot's planted, this stance nice and straight.
Yeah.
Immediately, as you push weight, you can just see the back heel on the right hand side starting to lift. We're looking for ideally for a straight line that runs from mid-knee, down through the calf, through the Achilles to your heel. And you can just see it's just starting to break.
Yeah. I did find I had to put the treadmill the speed up because I felt like I couldn't run well enough at easy. You know, it's again.
So again, you can see it quite dramatic.
Yeah.
There's a dramatic break in there. Within a couple of strides, we can see that there's a certain amount of pronation going on. 60 to 70% of all runners pronate.
Exactly.
You're not unique.
Yeah. No, I'm not surprised either. So and you can see the effect of sort of the knee slightly as well. But
that's it. And that may have a little impact on what you're performing and what you're showing on the gait. But as I said, this shoe will show everything to the walks.
I mean, I wear this shoe casually all the time, which is quite funny, but I never run in it.
Yeah. So based on what we're looking at, I would be advising a support shoe, at which point I'll take you over to the wall. Okay, so this would be the shoe I recommend based on what we've seen on the analysts today. Put them on, we'll put you back on the treadmill and just see what's going to happen with your feet. Hopefully, it should see some improvement in that gait. And
well, like I say, I mean, interesting, I did used to run in these and I don't anymore, so I'm intrigued to see.
Okay, so if you want to step back on, start in your own. Right, pause when you're ready.
What's have you observed? Any big changes?
There's a little change, but not a huge change. The pronation is still clearly there.
Because I feel when I run in that, I feel that shoe always trying to change my gait. And like I said, I used to run in that shoe and I've gone back to a more neutral shoe and have no different injuries as a result. So does comfort and sort of personal preference come into it?
Yeah, I think ultimately the biggest driver is personal comfort. It may not correct it to the level that you want it, but you're feeling the most comfortable whilst you're out running in it, and you're the one that's going to be clocking the 40, 50 miles a week in those shoes. So you're the best person to know what's going to work for you over those distances. If
someone does come in and sort of have a quick gait analysis, then how often should they have another one? Like, is it just next time they buy another pair of shoes?
For beginners, yes, certainly. When you get to sort of mine and your level, you'll find that we know what we want. We'll come in and just buy the next season model. So I'll be in for a Glycerine 20 when it comes out, and that's because I've worn it for the last 8-9 years. But as I said, newer runners, we always advise to get your gait reanalyzed purely because things can change. You can get stronger, especially if you start to up your mileage. If you've got a place in the London Marathon and you're training for that London Marathon, your mileage will suddenly go from sort of 5-10 miles a week to sort of 30, 40 potentially at the very end of your training plans. And your leg muscles will strengthen because of that, and your gait can marginally change over time.
And then there are a few final things that we might not have covered that you need to consider. Make sure you bring the socks that you prefer to run in, and if you use orthotics, most certainly make sure you bring those along with you. And shoes will actually only alter part of your gait. Strength and conditioning is going to be required for any bigger and more long-term changes. Also note that more expensive isn't necessarily better when it comes to running shoes. It is worth having a trail pair and a separate road shoe if you do a lot of running both on and off road. And if you can't go to a store that does gait analysis, then you could try filming yourself on a treadmill or getting someone else to, or even running on the ground with wet feet and seeing how your foot lands and what that footprint looks like. And then finally, it's obviously worth going to a shop if possible, so you can at least try on the shoes before you buy them.
Well, thanks for your time, Craig. It's cool if I just head off for a run,
Yeah, cool. Carry on.
See you later. See you guys.
Okay, I haven't actually gone for a run, although it is tempting when you're super excited and you put on a new pair of shoes and you want to dash out the door. But even if they've been fitted to you, you still need to respect that time for them to actually get bedded in and for your feet to get used to them. And how long that takes does depend on how big a change you've gone. So what the shoe you were wearing before and what this shoe is like. It might mean you need to actually wear these shoes around the house at home before going out on some shorter, easy runs and then eventually building up to a long run or a race situation. And it's worth noting that if you do use orthotics in your shoes, you can make that change more quickly because in a sense you're bringing part of your old shoe and putting it in the new one, so they will feel more normal. But remember, if you're using orthotics, you do need to make sure you're going for neutral shoes. Right, I think I've covered everything that you need to consider when buying a new pair of shoes. Maybe not the colour, but if you're lucky enough to get the choices, that's brilliant. But make sure you prioritise all the important factors we've talked about. Hopefully this has helped you and you're going to go out and buy a new pair of shoes. No, I mean you're going to go out and get really motivated with your running. Give us a like if you've enjoyed it and hit that globe to subscribe.